Everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Are we live? I'm not sure if we're live. Are we live yet? I think nothing's coming up to say that I'm live, Chris. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed here that we are live. And for those of you who have joined us this morning, you can see my darling boy. Say good morning, Reese.
Good morning.
Good morning. And so, uh, okay, so it is Saturday and it's story time. So, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me this lovely Saturday morning. The clouds are a bit sort of in the sky a little bit. And what else? What else is going on? And we thought we'd tell you a story this morning because, after all, it is story time. It is Saturday morning and it is story time.
April Fool!
And it's April Fool's Day. It's not really Saturday morning, is it?
Thursday.
It's not really story time, is it?
That's in a few days.
But actually, that was a good April Fool. I like that April Fool. And that was Reese's idea to say that it's Saturday morning and it's story time when we really know that it is
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, April the 1st. April Fool, everybody. April Fool's Day. So I think we should tell sort of a story. What do you think we should tell a story of? I think, first of all, I should tell you what we've been doing this week because Reese is here and...
oh, look. Totally got me.
Totally got you? Oh, good. Chris will read those out. Chris will read those out to us in a minute, okay? So, first of all, I'd like to say good morning to Greg, who, as always, is to my right side. To that side, to my right side.
But how?
He's right between us.
Oh.
And I would also like to say good morning, Chris. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Reese and Rosemary. Good morning, everyone.
And good morning to my darling boy. This is my darling boy, Reese. There are no vowels in your name, are there?
There are.
They're not.
Why?
That's not a vowel.
It sort of is.
No, it isn't.
Sort of.
No.
Sort of.
Okay, if you say so. But there isn't. So, for all of you who've just joined in, it's Saturday morning and it's story time.
It's story. Another April Fool.
Another April Fools. We're doing lots of April Fools. So Reese came into my bedroom this morning and he said, Mosey, come quick. Come quick.
There's an alligator by the pool.
There's an alligator by the pool. Come quick. And I'd forgotten it was April Fool. And I said, no, there isn't. Didn't I? And it sort of, it fell a bit flat. So we thought we'd play a prank on all of you and say that it's Saturday morning and not Thursday morning. Oh, let me fiddle about a bit and sit up here. Are you comfortable? Right then. So what have we been doing this week? Well, Reese has been doing a lot of swimming. And all three of us were in the pool, weren't we, yesterday? Reese's mama and me. And of course, Reese, who is he is like, what are you like? A dolphin? We did we decide you were like a dolphin? So because he swims and he turns and he twists and he goes underwater and he does all of that good stuff. So you're having a lot of fun there, aren't you? And because this week for Reese, it's what is it? What is it?
What?
Easter, spring vacation.
Oh, yeah. For my
And last week he was here and it wasn't spring vacation, but he was here anyway, and he's going to be here next week. But some good things are happening next week. What's happening this coming week? Easter Sunday. We're hoping Good Friday tomorrow, which is very important. Easter Sunday, we're hoping, we're not sure because Reese isn't at home, but we're hoping that the Easter Bunny will come. We have to send the letter out today. And then what's happening next week?
Mama's birthday.
It's Samantha's birthday, right? It's Mama's birthday next week. And we don't quite know what we're going to do yet, but we're going to do some fun things. We might go to the beach. We might take a picnic on the beach. And sorry, it's a secret. We're not going to tell Mummy, are we, what we're going to do for a birthday? But anyway, so it's a birthday. So we've got a very busy week this week.
Though.
Now then, for all of you who celebrate Easter, you know, when I was a kid growing up, we didn't have Easter eggs. Not that other kids didn't. Just in my family, my mother didn't get us Easter eggs. And I remember I was 11 years old when I very first got my very, very first chocolate Easter egg, which was bought for me and for my sisters by my brother, who was much older than us. And my mother put the Easter eggs on the top of the wardrobe. So when you were lying in bed, you could see them up there, but you couldn't touch them. You couldn't do anything with them, and you had to wait until Sunday. So we knew we were going to get them, but they didn't come from the Easter Bunny. I'm not sure why. But Reese, will the Easter Bunny come to you, do you think?
Yeah, he came in Australia.
He came when you were in Australia. And we think also that the Easter Bunny is going to, well, I'm hoping he comes to me. What do you think? And I hope he comes to Mama too. And we're going to have an Easter hunt, but we're going to be celebrating Easter in lots of different ways. So we hope you are too. Maybe today we can talk about, or you can let me know how you are going to celebrate.
Oh, we could, but also Saturday's much closer to Easter also.
Saturday is much closer to Easter. What does that mean?
Like,
Does that mean we have to do something for Easter? Anyway, we shall see. We shall wait and we shall see. But I'd love to hear your plans, if any of you are doing anything for Easter. And for those of you who are not celebrating Easter or don't celebrate Easter, we'd still like to hear what you're up to and what you're doing this weekend also. We shall, even though it's Easter Saturday, we shall be having...
Easter Saturday?
Yeah, not today. Coming
Easter
up.
Saturday? There's no Easter Saturday because it's on Sunday.
Oh, right. Well, we shall be having our story time. Even though it's Easter weekend and people will be celebrating and out and about, we should be having our story time on Saturday. And so, all right. So, Chris, do we have anybody there? Is there anybody there watching?
Oh, we have quite a few people watching, Rosemary. We have all sorts of hellos from everyone. This time people weren't saying where they're from, but just hellos. So from Fur and Alexis and Loniki and Carolyn. Carolyn's the one who said, "You totally got me." And Barb said, "Good morning. You got me with that April Fools."
Good.
Maggie's on. Jennifer says, "Good evening from Holland."
Hold on, Chris. You can't do this, right? So you have to be a good boy. All right. We're listening to Chris, and Chris is telling us what people are saying, and we need to pay attention to what they're saying, right? Okay. Sorry, Chris. Carry on again. Sorry.
No worries. Mark says, "Gray Eagle must have chuckled at Reese and was probably saying that he doesn't understand the concept of April Fools. LOL.
Oh, no, he does.
Love that child and boy, what his destiny will be."
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Mark.
Emilio says, "Ciao, baby. Good morning from Italy and Rome."
Well, ciao, baby, to you too.
And then we have Sherry, Eric, Dean. They're all saying hello and hi.
Good. All right.
So we don't really have any questions yet.
Okay. So why don't we talk a little bit again about what we're planning on doing, because we do now have dates set, I think, Chris.
We do.
Did you actually manage to get them up on Eventbrite? I'm not sure, because I know that Chris has had computer issues this week, and also not so well either, Chris, right?
Right. You and I have to get together on a couple of things, but I mean, the save the dates are the first one in May is Messages from the Spirit World with you and Gray Eagle. That's on May 8th. And Gray Eagle Speaks direct voice communication is on May 22nd. Both the times are 10 a.m. Eastern to 1 p.m.
Okay, so just give me 1 second. Do you want to go to Mama now? Okay, off we go then. Can you close the door behind you then, please, sweetheart? Okay, all right. So, close the door, baby, please. All right. So, messages from the spirit world is basically going to be, however long a time we're doing the webinar, and I think it's going to be about 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours long. I will be, along with Grey Eagle, helping me and helping all of us. I'll be giving messages from the spirit world. So it is a first come, first save the ticket. So please keep checking the web page. I'm sorry. Please keep checking our webpage, rosemaryaltea.com. They should be up by Saturday or Sunday, the proper dates, and you should be able to order your tickets then as well. If you are subscribed, if you get a newsletter from us every week, if you are subscribed, you will get the newsletter, so you'll be the first, one of the insiders with the first news. If you aren't subscribed and don't get the newsletter, then just go again to the webinar. No, sorry, I can't get my mind together here. Go to the webpage, rosemaryaltea.com. Sorry about this. April Fool's Day has really got me this morning. And subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. We will not inundate you with emails. You'll get maybe 2 or 3 a month, and that's all you'll get from us. But it does mean that you will get our newsletter, and it does mean that you'll be the first to know, one of the insiders to know what it is we're up to, what it is that we're doing. If anybody, by the way, went to the Lee Carroll show and checked out the Lee Carroll show yesterday, they had all sorts of technical difficulties, and I don't quite know how that works. We were supposed to be in the chat room afterwards for me to answer questions to everybody, but everything got cut off. So I'm afraid there was nothing, we were not in charge of that at all. There was nothing we could do about it, but we hope you enjoyed what it was that you did see. All right, so back to our webinars. So basically what it will be is we'll be looking to all of your loved ones in the spirit world. Not every single person is going to get a message, of course they're not, but what often happens is when one person gets a message, and this happens in an audience, whether it's an online audience or whether it's a live audience, this happens all the time. You might give a message to one person, but somebody across the other side of the room might exactly understand what is being said and feel that the message is for them as well, which it often is. So even though you might not get a personal message, there'll be lots of messages, and you'll get to see how it works when those in the spirit world will come through to talk to us, and who knows what they're going to say to us. Some might just want to give messages to their loved ones. Some might want to enlighten us to what it might be like in the spirit world for them. Some of them might enlighten us as to what they're up to, what they're doing. What do people do in the spirit world? And that's one of those questions that when people come for a private consultation with me, one of the questions that is often asked is, what are they doing now? Because trust me, they're not sitting on a cloud playing a harp. I can assure you of that. Each of us is busy in our own different way. So that's going to be a very fun and a very exciting event. So tell me again the date of that, Chris.
Gray Eagle Speaks is on May 22nd. Messages from the
The messages from the spirit world.
Messages from the Spirit World is May 8th.
May 8th. And then on the 23rd, 2nd or 3rd?
22nd. Yeah.
So on the 22nd of May, we are going to be wowed, I think. Gregor has only ever done this once before in a public forum, but we're going to hear from him directly. Now, here is the difference between the two webinars. So the first webinar, Grey Eagle and I will be communicating just in the way that we communicate now. If Grey Eagle wants to say something to me, or if he wants me to let someone to give someone a message, or if he wants to show me that there is someone in the spirit world waiting to give a message, he'll put his hand on my shoulder, and then I'll start and pay attention to him and listen to what he has to say to me. And between the two of us, we can figure out who is waiting, what it is they want to say, if they want to give a message, and so on. When we do what is known as direct voice communication, and I can't remember who it was, but we had a lovely man saying, can you tell us more about direct communication? That was a few weeks ago. Well, if you go to the webinar, you will have the experience of how direct voice communication works. And basically, the first way, giving messages and doing it the way we're doing it today, and the way you mostly see us doing it, Grey Eagle and I will have conversations, and then I will let you know what he says or what those in the spirit world are saying. Direct voice is a completely different thing. It is a very rare thing. As I've said, Grey Eagle has only ever once before done this in a public forum, and that was in December. But he informed me a couple of weeks ago that he was going to be doing it again in May. So we picked the date of May 22nd. And what happens here is that the medium, in this case me, will literally move. I shall shift out of my body. You probably won't see that, although if you're paying attention, you will see some shifts or some movement. If you yourself are sensitive, you might see that happening. And then Grey Eagle will literally come in, use my body, use my physical body, use my voice box, and he will be speaking. It won't be anything to do with me. I'll be just standing to the side, waiting, watching. I shall be in, usually what happens is I shall be in some kind of well, I cannot say that I will be out of it altogether. I cannot say that that I won't be listening, because I will. How much I'll be able to participate, I don't know. So I will be in what you might consider to be a light stage of trance, where I can see and hear everything. But Grey Eagle has the floor, and that's the end of that. And while he is in my body and using my body and using my voice box, I will be just as all of you will be. I shall be a participant. So you will hear directly from him with no interference from me or anybody else. So direct voice is a very special thing. Now, remember this if you can. Grey Eagle is a highly, highly evolved spiritual entity. In other words, put it simply, he is extraordinarily wise. He has tremendous knowledge of the spirit world. He has tremendous knowledge of the energy, how things work. He has tremendous knowledge of things that are beyond our understanding even. And so when he speaks, we listen. If we are sensible, we pay attention and we listen, because usually when you have a direct voice communication with a highly evolved spiritual entity, it is for the sake of teaching. It is for the sake of helping us to understand things. It is for the sake of our learning and our growing and our growth. But it's also for those who saw that in December for the first time, how it worked. It's an amazing and a very moving experience. I think, Chris, do you want to say anything about that? Because I know you were there and you were.
Well, I was brought to tears. I can say that much. It just touches you in the place deep in your soul, and it makes all the sense in the world. I was very privileged to have been there.
So, what we're asking you to do, for those of you who are booking, who book and want to be a part of this direct voice communication, the direct voice communication, the webinar is called Grey Eagle Speaks, because that's what he will be doing, hopefully. So you will have an opportunity. Those of you who buy tickets to that event will have an opportunity to write in your questions to the office. Now, pay attention. The questions should be appropriate to what it is we're trying to do here. So if you want to talk to your loved ones in the spirit world, if you want to know if your mum and dad are okay, or if you want to know if your daughter's okay, your sister's okay, whoever it is, if you want that kind of communication, then you really need to be at the May 8th webinar, because that's what we'll be doing. And as much as possible, we'll be giving as many messages as we possibly can. If you want to know more, if you are truly interested in how these things work, or if you just want this amazing experience of seeing and listening to this highly evolved spiritual entity who is so wise and so amazing and so gentle, then you need the May 22nd. So think about what it is you need. Some of you might, which it certainly is what I would do, some of you might attend both of them. But if it is just a communication from your loved ones in the spirit world that you're looking for and nothing else, then you do need the May 8th. And if you want to know more or experience more or have the wonder of seeing this incredibly amazing man, Grey Eagle, speaking to us all and talking to us all, then you will have an opportunity. Some of you will write your questions in, make them appropriate questions. They will not be, can you see my mother? They will not, because that's not what he's going to be doing. He's going to be talking about, hopefully, about deeper things, about more things that we perhaps don't understand about this universe of ours, things that we perhaps don't understand about our own spirit, our own spiritual growth, things that as a human cluster, we call ourselves, this earth of ours is a human cluster of souls. And if you want to know more about those sorts of things, those are the sorts of questions you might want to consider asking. If you send in your questions, there are no guarantees that we're going to answer them. There's no guarantees that Gregor will want to answer them. But if you don't ask, you don't get. So, so by all means, put your questions in. You will need to send those questions to the office, Rosemary at rosemaryaLtea.com, or better still, actually, Chris, K-R-I-S, Chris at rosemaryaLtea.com, because she'll be dealing with all of those things, and we'll sort through the questions, and Gregor will, if there are any questions that he would like to ask, then he can let me know, and we can have them, we can put them on the agenda, ready and waiting for if we get an opportunity to ask these questions. So it's going to be a very exciting month. Now, why are we doing this all in May? Why nothing this month? Why nothing in April? Why do we do nothing in March? Why, and what's going on in June? Well, we will have other things going on in June, but May is a particular month. For those of you who haven't heard, it is the 25th anniversary of the first publication of The Eagle and the Rose. And golly, I can't believe I'm that old. I was wanting to say that old and wrinkled, but there we are. It comes to us all, and so I don't feel old and wrinkled inside, not one little bit. But anyway, so it is the publication date, the actual publication date of The Eagle and the Rose, as with all of my books, is May 19th, and May 19th is my birthday. Now, the book was out before May 19th. It was in the stores, but the official publishing date was May 19th. So we are celebrating the whole month of May. Now, not only are we having these two amazing webinars going on, we're going to be having a Monday session on Facebook. Chris, help me out.
Absolutely. So you're going to have Motivational Mondays.
Thank
So
you. That's
every
it.
Monday at 12 noon on YouTube and Facebook. And then you also have Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday at 12 noon, except on your birthday.
All through May. And be prepared, because I might just pop in on my birthday morning and say hi to everybody as well. But also, so apart from the Motivational Monday, which will be on, we'll restream it. So wherever you're finding this, you'll find us there. We'll be restreaming. I think, is that 10 o'clock or is it midday? What did we say?
It's at
Chris?
noon.
It's at noon. So
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. So that's on Monday and on Wednesday, throughout every week of May. And if you can't remember the dates, it's going to be very simple, because they will be posted on the website as soon as Chris's computer gets set up. We are going to post them on the website. So all you need to do is go to rosemaryaltea.com and you'll find all the information there as well. And of course, if you sign up, all of the information will be on the newsletter as well. So also throughout the month of May, just to keep you all on your toes, I just thought we'd have a lot of fun in May. I'm going to be popping up here, there, and everywhere. I'm going to be in the kitchen. Where else am I going to be, Chris? I might be on the beach. I'm going to be popping up as and when, with no warning whatsoever. It'll flash up on your screen, Rosemary is live, and you'll think, what? She's live? I didn't know she was going to be live today. And I'm going to just pop in and out of your lives all the way through May. I promise I won't keep doing it, because you can actually have too much of a good thing, but throughout the month of May, we're going to be celebrating 25 years, and The Eagle and the Rose is still being sold in bookstores. You can still get it in our store. So if you want to get a book from us, again, just email Chris, Kris, at rosemaryaltea.com, and we shall let you know where else you can buy all of the books and what else you can be doing to help us to celebrate. What else, Chris? Sometimes throughout the month of May, also I'm going to pop in with stories that we've been sent in from different people, because we've asked you, if you have a story, if you knew me way back when, or if you have a story about me, or you have an interesting story about an experience, a spiritual experience that you might have had, I'm going to be reading some of those stories also through the month of May. As I've said, I'm going to be popping up. I'm going to keep popping up, and just to fool you. And hopefully I should be in the kitchen quite a lot of the time as well. So just watch out for that. All right, Chris, I think have we covered it all?
I believe that we have.
So over to you. I don't know if you've got any questions or comments or what have you going on over there, but let's have a look at those.
Loniki was asking early on here in the chat room, what sort of questions are we allowed to ask?
You can ask anything you like, as long as it's polite. And sometimes I'll be able to answer, and sometimes I won't. And sometimes we'll say not today, or I don't have time today, or sometimes we'll answer. It's very. I'm probably not being very helpful to you. You can ask anything you like, and just don't be disappointed if I say not today, or sorry, but I don't see anything for you at the moment. That sort of thing. Just don't be disappointed, but just keep trying. And I don't mind how many times you ask the same question. If you come back next week, you didn't get an answer this week, and you come back next week and you want to ask the same question, go for it. Just doesn't matter to us. And Chris will do her very best to try and get everybody in. But don't leave it to the last minute before you ask questions, because if you leave it to the last minute, as I've said, Chris has it's a tough job for Chris. She has to scroll up and down and up and down, and she's not 100% today, so we have to be really nice to her, and we have to make sure. This is why I'm talking a lot and making her not do a lot of stuff today. But we'll scroll up and down and up and down, and we'll take it as it comes and see what happens.
Okay, so the next question is from Sherry Lee. My friend passed last night. She was such a beautiful soul, and I'm heartbroken.
And this is Sherry
Lee.
Sherry Lee. Sherry, darling, please understand that although it's so much harder for those of us who are left behind, isn't it? It is really tough for us to lose someone that we love. And just if it makes it a little easier, even though it's painful for us, the joy of that happens when people pass. I had a consultation with somebody this week who wanted to know how his wife passed, and she described in the most amazing detail. And Sherry Lee, I think this is an answer for you. For some reason, Gregor is telling me to tell you this as well. The most incredible experience happened as she closed her eyes. She felt herself lifted very gently, very carefully. And first, she was a bit nervous to look to see what was happening. But eventually, or slowly, she opened her eyes and she told us that she was just amazed. And Shirley, this is for you too. Remember, she was amazed to see her beautiful angels lifting her carefully and carrying her home. So even though we grieve, and even though it's painful for us, and it will be painful for you for a long time, Shirley, because yes, you are very special friends, aren't you? You are very close. But she's in a good place, and she was carried by her angels and is arrived safely. Okay, Chris.
Leslie says, was Gray Eagle ever incarnate on Earth?
No. Golly. I don't know where that came from, but that was a distinct and a definite no. Wait a minute. What are you asking me? He did live on this earth, but he did not return back to earth, if that's what you're asking. He lived on this earth for many years. And he was part of the Native American, when peace reigned. Was it Washington? I can't remember who actually. They had lots of different peace treaties with the Native Americans. I'm talking about, when I say they, I'm talking about the peace treaty that happened when all of these white folk came into a land that wasn't theirs and then tried to take it away from people. And we know that now, don't we? We get that now. But Grey Eagle was actually there when they had the meeting of all of the main nations, and people from the government came, and treaties were signed, and Grey Eagle was actually a part of that. And in fact, if you go online, you can actually see a sketch of him at that time, because there were sketch artists at that time who actually took sketches of the Native Americans and also the politicians, and he is recorded as being a part of that time in our history. Don't get him mixed up with there is, I do believe there's a Native American, I think a Comanche also named Grey Eagle. It was quite common. It's like being called Fred or Joe, I suppose. Names can be quite common. But Grey Eagle is Apache. So when you look for that and you find him, you will be able to find him if you search for him. So he did live a life on this earth. He was a shaman. He was a healer. He was a teacher. He was the wise man of his tribe, as we might know him to be. And since that time, he has learned, grown, and become more and more, and his words, enlightened. And he's tickling my face here as he's saying this and chuckling. And I think also enlightened by me and by all of you and by the questions that you ask. He is so joyful when he sees me working and when he sees that you all are so interested in the subject. Yes, Chris.
I'm just going to follow that up really quickly. Carol was asking, she says, sorry, I'm new. Who is Grey Eagle? You've answered most of it.
Well, I think did I tell this story on Story Time about my Scotsman? Did I? I think I did.
Last Saturday.
Yeah. So if you really want to know all of the details, if you can go into YouTube and look for last Saturday's Story Time, my lovely, you'll get a little bit more. I'm also going to suggest you read The Eagle and the Rose. Grey Eagle is my spirit guide. He is a highly evolved entity. And if you want to know more, if you want to see more, then please join our webinar, Grey Eagle Speaks, because boy, oh boy, that's going to be something. But Grey Eagle is my spirit guide. He helps, he guides me, he steers me. And believe you me, there is not one single person on this earth who would have been more surprised and thought it the most ridiculous thing and been more skeptical than me. Because the last thing, I mean, I'm English, for goodness sake. I lived in England up to this point of meeting Grey Eagle. I lived in England all my life. Might have gone to Spain once or twice. I can't remember. But anyway, why would I have a Native American spirit guide? Why wouldn't I have a nice, broad, big Scotsman or a Welshman if it comes to that? Or why wouldn't I have one of my own nationality? But there is a story behind it, my darling. I know it sounds like I'm crazy, but if you can get a chance to read The Eagle and the Rose, if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you can get a chance to read The Eagle and the Rose, please feel free to do that, because, well, aside from anything else, it's the most enlightening book and it's a very powerful book. Right, Chris.
So Heather was answering your question about what are people doing for Easter. Heather's from Hove in the UK. I just spent 4 hours helping to decorate the church with masses of white flowers for tonight's vigil.
Nice.
Tomorrow is Kiddies services at 11 a.m. Saturday, it's 8 p.m. service. And then, of course, it's Easter Sunday. Our vicar is very excited.
Well, that sounds like, it sounds like you're going to be really busy and good for you. And it sounds like you really are celebrating. When I was a Sunday school teacher, one of my favorite stories was to talk about how Christ rode the donkey and the palm leaves were placed in front of him as the donkey walked over the palm leaves. And, I'm a very firm believer in Jesus Christ. He's been my friend since I can remember. I was sent to church by my mother, and she sent us all to church, not because she's religious at all, but because it was the Sunday afternoon movie, and it was the only way she could make sure she could watch it without being interrupted. So we were all sent off to church, and the church that I was sent off to was the Church of Christ. They became my family. Christ became my best friend. And so I've known him since I was 4 or 5 years old, literally known him since that time. And when I'm healing, when I'm giving healing, Grey Eagle is reminding me to tell all of you here. It is sometimes, of course, Grey Eagle helps. Of course it does. But very often I'll feel hands on my shoulders, or I'll feel hands placed over my hands. As I'm putting my hands on someone, I'll feel hands placed over my hands, and I know that they are Christ's hands over mine. Now, let's be clear. You don't have to believe in Christ in order to believe in Grey Eagle. You don't have to believe in Grey Eagle in order to believe in me. You believe whatever you want anyway, but let's be really clear for all of those of you who are thinking, well, because we get this all the time, don't we? If you don't embrace Christ, then you'll be doomed to hell and all of that. 2/3 of the world, let's be really clear, 2/3 of the world never heard of Christ. Well, I'm sure since the era of computers and Googling and all of that, I'm sure that that's not the case anymore. But before we had all of this communication, 2/3 of the world were ignorant of the fact that a man by the name of Jesus Christ ever existed. And so for those who condemn those who don't believe in Christ, get a grip on reality. If you grow up with something else, if you grow up with another way of believing, if you're taught about Buddha, or if you're taught about Allah, or if you whatever it is that you're taught, those are the things that you worship. And it's only when we get older that we can investigate further. And I think one thing that Christ said that resonates with me always: in my Father's house are many mansions. In other words, there are lots of different belief systems, and they are all under God's umbrella. So whatever it is that you believe in, you are not exempt from or excluded from listening to anything else or being embraced by anything else. And you are certainly not exempt from being embraced by God and the light of God. So thanks, Heather, for that. It's a good reminder to all of us to hopefully understand that all of us have our own different way of worshiping. Chris.
Mary says, Happy Easter to everyone. My 3 children, ages 10, 12, and 14, are having some up and downs. Every and all past advice has worked. Does Grey Eagle have any advice for the kids?
Well, Mary, as parents, I gave my daughter some sound advice yesterday. I think she's taken it to heart. It's a small piece of knowledge, but the advice came from something that I've learned and something that I've carried through my life. Our children do really not learn by what we say. They learn by what we do. They learn by our actions. So no matter how difficult life is, and Mary, I'm with you, darling. I know how painful it can be, and I know the heartbreak of being, people being disloyal to you, letting you down, and all of those things. And that rubs off on the kids. And I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that your actions should say to your children, hey, no problems, everything's fine, because it isn't. And children need to know that it isn't. But they also need to know, not from what you say to them, my lovely, but from how you are, how you behave. And boy, is it difficult for us parents to behave properly, or as we should, or as we hope we should. So, my heart goes out to every parent who is struggling with this. But as well as letting kids know that times are tough, that things are rough, that, pain is a part of living and part of life, we should also, by our own actions, embrace all that is positive and all that is good. We should let our kids see us striving. We should let our kids see our tears. And we should let our kids see us working through those tears and smiling through those tears, and sometimes gritting our teeth and getting on with it, because these are the greatest lessons. When you sit down with your kids and you try to give them advice, it's just words and they're meaningless. So, Mary, I know that you can do this. You absolutely can do this. Give your kids advice, the best advice they'll ever receive, by living your life in the best way that you can. Let them see the struggles, let them see the tears. That's okay, as long as you don't wallow in it, because that'll teach them to wallow in it. And as long as you can show them through your actions that no matter what, you're going to beat this, no matter what, you're going to strive to get on with this, no matter what, guess what? As rotten as the day might be, let's find at least 10 minutes in the day to have some fun. Let's have a card game. Let's sit down and just play. Let's play Snap, or let's go in the kitchen and make some terrible, awful, messy, sloppy joes, or whatever it is you call those things. You go into the kitchen with your kids, go out to the park with your kids. No matter what you're feeling like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and say to your kids, this is what I'm doing, and you're coming with me, because we're all doing this. And if they see you do it, it'd be so much better and so much easier for them to do it too. Chris.
Cheryl says, I will be spending Easter enjoying the day. Every day is a gift.
Believe you me, I'm right with you there. I'm right with you. Yes, Chris.
Heather says, I am reading Proud Spirit at the moment, and I have to thank you and Grey Eagle for your wonderful spiritual insights. You are a wonderful teacher. Not that I did not know that before, but this has reminded me. Thank you so much for what you do for all of us.
Oh, thank you, Heather. I do find that any good book, whether they're my books or somebody else's books, any good book is worth a second read. And, it's a little bit like watching a movie for the second or third time. If you were here with my grandson, oh my goodness, he watches things over and over again. And we've seen them before, and we sometimes say to him, no, not this one. We've seen it a dozen times. But it's interesting because every time you watch a movie or you read a book, there's always something more to learn, and there's always something you didn't quite catch the first time that you can actually resonates with you more the second time. So, Heather, please enjoy Proud Spirit. I loved writing that book, but I also loved, you can see on the cover of that book, I'm in Arizona. I'm in the mountains. I think in the cover of that book, I'm wearing my walking boots too. And that was the time when, oh, wait a minute, that's for story time, right? That's for Saturday. But it is, I will tell you this little tidbit. I can remember going with friends. I'll tell you about them another time. And Gregor took me to a special place. He just said, okay, let's climb up this mountain. And believe you me, in those days, I could climb up the mountain. And let's climb up this mountain. And he pointed me to a place where we could sit. And then my friends who were with me, who knew much more about the desert areas and much more about the natives. In fact, one was a Native American. So they knew much more about this, pointed out what I hadn't seen, but they saw right next to this rock. So we discovered this enormous, enormous dish. They have a name for it, the Native Americans. It's like the dish that they used to cook rice. And by the size of the dish, you can tell how many people were in the tribe and so on and so forth. So, I'd climbed that mountain many times. There's always something to see a second and a third time around. Chris.
Annie's wishing you a good day and a beautiful Easter.
Thank you, Annie. Good day. Are you in Australia or are you in New Zealand? Where are you? Reese, my grandson, said to me yesterday, because he's into airlines and he's into traveling around the world, and he's got a map and a globe, and he's saying, and he looked at me, he said, Mosey, where's Auckland? And um, his mother chirped up Australia, and I chirped up New Zealand. For all of you New Zealanders out there, I know I was right. But we do sometimes get New Zealand and Australia sort of slightly mixed, because we are a long way away. But Reese was in Auckland in his imagination yesterday. Yes, Chris.
Eric is wondering, are there any messages from Grey Eagle now for them?
No. You got to wait. You have to wait. Maybe on Saturday. I think on Saturday, because this anniversary is coming up. Last Saturday in story time, I told you of the first time that I met Grey Eagle and how I met Grey Eagle. And so this Saturday morning on story time, which for those of you who don't know about story time, same place, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Saturday morning I tell a story, and I think we're going to continue with the theme of letting you all know a little bit more about Grey Eagle, about how he works, and you know, the kinds of things that he does and the kinds of things he helps with, so that when it comes time to listen to his direct voice communications, you'll know him a little bit better than perhaps you do now. Chris.
Carol is wondering, can we see December's webinar?
Well, we're working on it, right, Chris?
Yes. Our problem is,
I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
Well, yes, we do have a recording of it. But the problem is a lot of times people take your material and they put it out on the internet, and there's a free for all for it. And we want to guard against that.
Yes. So we're trying to find a way where you can access it and listen to it, and that it, you know, that we protect it at the same time. And we are working on doing that for all of our webinars. If anybody out there can give help and advice on that score, we'd love to hear from you. Chris, Kris, at rosemaryaltea.com. Chris.
Pina has a comment. Happy Easter, Rosemary and Grey Eagle, and to everybody out there. I send a big kiss to my mammy and my brother Julian. We miss you so much.
Oh, how lovely. That's such a nice message. And surprisingly, you didn't ask me for anything, did you? You just sent your love to them, and they hear you. You don't need me, you know that. They hear you. But I have a young man here with the most startling eyes, really, really beautiful eyes, who I'm going to jump in. I've got no reason to say it to you, but I'm going to say it to you anyway, because you were saying kisses to your brother, and I think I might have just had a glimpse of this lovely young man with beautiful eyes who's blowing kisses to you too. So, Chris.
Lorraine says, I've enjoyed reading your book. Bravo, well done.
Oh, thank you. Which book are you talking about, my darling? Because there are a few out there. And I was going through my cookbook the other day because, you know, I'm looking to, well, actually, this is what I did. Was it yesterday? The day before yesterday, I bought some grouper, some beautiful fresh grouper. There's a great fishmonger really sort of fairly close to me. And I bought this grouper, and Samantha looked at me. She said, I've never had grouper. Now, a few days before that, we had some sea bass. And Samantha loves sea bass. And it was really delicious. So then I got this grouper, and she said, I don't think I've ever had grouper, Mum, have I? And as if I would know, and of course I would. And I said, well, we had it when we were in Greece, and we've had it different places, but it's a long time ago. You probably don't remember it. So I baked it with lemon juice and butter and I put a little bit of Parmesan cheese on the top, and I baked it in the oven, and boy, oh boy, was it good. It was so good. And there was a little bit left over. So yesterday afternoon, we felt we were feeling a little bit peckish. And so I got the fish out, and it was cold and it was delicious. And we finished it off. We polished it off. So why am I talking about that, Chris? I've no idea.
I don't know either.
Anyway, this is what we're up to. So, Chris.
All right. So Christian says, Hi, Rosemary. Can Gray Eagle tell me if my grandmother or someone else watches over me? Thank you very much, and happy Easter to all of you.
Christian, and a happy Easter to you too. And I was going to say no, but Christian, Grey Eagle tells me that you have lovely healing hands. It might be something that you don't know anything about, or you may already know, but I am told that you have let's say a guardian, not a spirit guide, and we're not talking about an angel, but we are actually talking about someone in your family who is maybe a generation or two back from you, but influencing you. So I feel that somewhere in your family there was a doctor or a medical person, who I feel is helping you and influencing you. I hope I've not confused you. I've probably confused you completely, but we'd love to know if you understand any of what I just said. But you are beautiful. You have a beautiful light around you, beautiful healing light around you. So Grey Eagle is insisting that I tell you that. Okay, Chris.
So we've got about 3 minutes left, Rosemary.
How did that happen?
It goes fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mary's saying during Easter, it's written that Jesus died and went to hell before his resurrection. So what do you know about hell, or is it too low of a frequency to talk about?
I never heard. I don't know where it's written that Christ went to hell. I've never heard, Mary. That's a new one to me, and I don't actually believe it. So I'll tell you that. Number one. Number two, I don't believe in a hell in the way that it is written about. I know that there are dark places in this universe, and I know there are places filled with light in this universe. I know that there are dark souls, and in my book, Soul Signs, we do mention dark souls briefly, and we talk about them a little bit. It's got nothing to do with it being a lower frequency or anything like that. It's just that where there is, the world and the universe, there are opposites. Where there is light, there is dark. Where there is the sun, there's the moon, and on we can go. So there are lots of different opposites, and there are dark souls, but they are so very few and far between. But I can assure you, Mary, what I know of Christ, and I don't know where you've read this or where it is written. I have never read it. I have never heard of it before. I am a Christian. I know my Christ inside and out. There's nothing dark about him. There's nothing to suggest in any way that he may have even been drawn into that darkness. He is of so much light and so much beauty that there's no dark can get in there. So, I will say this for all of you. And as it's Easter, I think it's appropriate perhaps even to end with this. So if you have two rooms, right, and they're next to each other, and there's a door in the middle of these two rooms, one room is pitch black and one room is filled with light. So if you are a soul filled with light, which most of us are, or if you are a dark soul with no light whatsoever, let's see what happens when we open the door. Does the dark flood the light, or does the light flood the dark? And we know by the very nature of it all, wherever there is light, dark cannot penetrate. Wherever there is light and beauty, dark cannot penetrate. The only way that darkness can penetrate any of us, or any of us who have a beautiful soul and a light soul, which the majority of us do, the only way that it can penetrate is if we allow it in, if we start exploring it and say, oh, well, come on in then. But who would want to do such a thing? Not me. So always, always, always the light penetrates. Always, always, always the light wins out. And Christ is one of those beautiful beings who is so filled with light, it's blinding. So I don't believe for 1 second that he was in hell or went to hell, or that hell would embrace him, because they would shrink back. Any dark soul would shrink back and be afraid of such beauty and such brightness and such light. They would not want to be touched by it. So, all right, having said that, I think that's a perfect note to end on our Easter, coming up, our Easter weekend. Of course, again, we will be back on Saturday morning. I shall tell you a story, and you will have an opportunity to ask questions of us again. We will be putting up, for those of you who want to get in on the ground floor with your tickets. Tickets are limited to our webinars, so the sooner you do it, the sooner you stand a chance of getting a ticket. The information should be up on Eventbrite sometime over the weekend. So please just keep watching for that. The website is rosemaryaltea.com, or one word. I would like to say thank you, Chris, for all of your help. I would like, obviously, to say thank you to Grey Eagle, and especially I'd like to say thank you to all of you who are watching. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for being fans. I'm a fan of yours, if it helps as much as you're a fan of mine. Thank you, thank you, thank you for watching. We hope to see you again on Saturday. If not, we're around. We'll see you sometime, hopefully, in the future. We'll be back next Thursday for another The Spirit World Sees All. But I'm looking forward to Saturday, when I'm going to tell you all another great story. Until then, please have a very, very blessed rest of the day, and have a very blessed and a very wonderful weekend, everybody. And if I don't see you on Saturday, do please have a wonderful, wonderful Easter. Do remember, though, it's not just about the chocolates, and it's not just about pleasing the children. There is a more powerful story there. Why do we celebrate Easter at all? Well, we celebrate Christ, and we celebrate all the goodness and all the love and all the joy and all the beauty of God. So please, if I don't see you before Easter, please bring the light into your lives and celebrate the joy of just being. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.